It was 11 weeks ago that everything changed. Our country went into shutdown. Our church went into a stay-at-home Zoom meeting, church in your neighborhood kind of mode. It wasn't even spring yet. Many of us thought it would be over in a few weeks. It's almost summer, and we're still in shutdown. Thankfully, we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. In sometime in the near future, we believe we're going to get a green light to be able to re-engage. And the question on many of our minds is, well, will Seneca Creek start meeting again, gathering at 13 First Field as soon as we get the green light? Which I understand, but is that really what we're waiting for? See, the answer is a little bit complicated. It's complicated because this is a pandemic like we've never experienced before. There's no real clear roadmap. They're not real good answers for some of the important questions. But it's also complicated because as a church, well, we're called to love one another. And this might be one of those situations where the most loving thing we can do is proceed with caution. I mean, putting hundreds of people in a room together for an hour or more it's a high-risk environment. We know that that's a high-risk category for viral transmission. And we want to know that we can meet safely before we throw open the doors of 13 First Field and invite everybody to come in. Now, as you can imagine, we're not going to go from 0 to 60 in one step. We're going to move as quickly as we can, but also in a way that can safeguard our most vulnerable populations. So the church leaders have been working on and are working on developing a plan, a phased plan to re-engage with public gatherings. Not to reopen, the church never closed, but how do we re-engage together in one place? The details of this plan are still being worked out. We'll make them available to you as soon as we have those for you. So keep an eye out for those for a future update. There's one other update I want to let you know about. If you've been part of Seneca Creek, you probably remember that every year around this time, we have an annual celebration meeting. We gather together, we celebrate what God's been doing over the last year, and we lay out our plans for where we think we're going to be going with God in the coming year, and how is all that going to work financially. So normally we do that the first Sunday of June. This year we're kicking it back 1 week because of the COVID and other complications to the second week in June. So on June 14th at 7 p.m., we're going to have our annual meeting / webinar. If you have an interest in being a part of that, keep your eye out for email. There'll be information there with a link to that information. And then finally, one last thing. If you've seen God at work somewhere in your life during this pandemic, we'd love to hear about that. Too often we go through situations like this without the encouragement of knowing how and where God is at work. And if you've seen that in your own life, we'd love to hear about that. We'd love to celebrate with. We'd love to share that story. So if that's your case, let us know. Reach out, send an email to info@senecacreek.org, and we'll be sure to try and work with you in getting that information to the right people. And then lastly, before we sign off, if you don't mind, if you haven't already, on YouTube, if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, that'll keep you updated with things like this that are coming along, and it'll help us get the word out better in the coming days. So thanks so much for that. We look forward to seeing you face to face very soon. Bye-bye.